For the love of Dallas. Building empowered communities by highlighting those who donate their most precious resource, time. Welcome to the show For the Love of Dallas. And I couldn't be more honored and more excited to have someone on the show who just epitomizes the Dallas area, right? He is an overcomer, he's an achiever, and he has had anything but an easy life. He's been thrown an obstacle that he continues to overcome every day, and in his words, finds the way. So I would like to welcome to the show Corey Borner, who has just been inspiring youth all the way to professional athletes for some time. So thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, so how I would like to dive in, because you have the most beautiful testimony I've heard in a long time, and I believe that God gives us testimonies to share, not to keep ourselves, and you've certainly been doing that. So I'd love to just get into your story. I don't even want to frame it, because I want you to tell me where do you want to start? Where did it start for you?
Well, it started May 6, 2009, and it's a regular day, sophomore. Told mom I'd be home when football practice over with. So getting up, getting dressed, she stopped me running down the stairs real fast, because I was already late for the bus. And I was on my way to the bus and I left something. So I had to come back in the room, in the house, and get what I needed. So my last words, hearing my mom say, "If you miss that bus, I'm not taking you to school."
Oh no, that's not good words.
So I got what I needed, I made it to the bus. Thank God I did. "Make sure you come home after practice." I said, "Okay, Mom, I will." So practice was in the seventh period, and I played cornerback at the time at DeSoto High School. And I remember telling the coach, one more play. And so soon as that one play occurred, the receiver had caught the ball, and I had my head down just a little too low. And I had made a hit, and I couldn't move nothing from my neck down. So my first words were, "God be with me, God be with me."
Wow. Wow.
And everything just got real quiet. So the head coach came up to me, the trainer had came up to me, and my first words to him was, "Am I gonna be okay?" "Yeah, Corey, you're gonna be just fine." Okay. So in my mindset, when the ambulance come, I'm gonna get these crutches, and I'll be at school the next day.
Yeah.
So I asked the ambulance guy the same thing. He said, "Yeah, Corey, you're gonna be fine." It's like, okay. So it felt like I got to Parkland within 5 minutes. That's how fast he was driving. So I got there. Only thing I can remember was my t-shirt being cut open, my face mask off, but the back of my helmet was still on. And I had one football cleat on in my football pants. So I was wondering why the back of my helmet still on. So that was like a concern to me. So my surgery took 9 hours. I woke up and saw myself on Channel 4. The DeSoto football player suffered a spinal cord injury.
Oh my gosh.
So that's when tears started to fall. I saw my mom and dad crying over there as well when I woke up. And the doctor came in there and told me I suffered a C5, C6 spinal cord injury. You have to use a wheelchair for the rest of your life. So my first words were, "God, why me?"
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I've got chills several times in that. I mean, just as a mother myself, just to receive news like that for your son, for you to receive that and to see it on TV. Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, God just went into your life and started working, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and I know I read, when I was doing my research, and I read that like the first year was pretty tough. Like maybe you weren't accepting the reality. Can you kind of walk us through like those next couple days? I think it's important because we're going to get into where you're at now, but to really appreciate where someone's at in life, especially when you're achieving like you're achieving right now. We need to be aware and never forget where we started, because you work a lot with the youth and teens, and sometimes they look at the end and never at the journey in the beginning. So what was it like the next year, but maybe starting with the first couple days after?
Well, from Parkland to Baylor, it's rehab time. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm 16 still. So in my mind, I still want to go back to school.
Yes.
So they made it possible. We had to have an audit meeting where you had to have the principal, mom, dad, your nurse, everybody. And I was the youngest one in Baylor at the time because my mom wanted to put me in the kids part, of Baylor.
Like pediatric, yes.
Yeah, that one. But I was like, no. She said, well, let them start over here. And so with that, I was like, well, I'm back at school, so I want to be normal like everybody else.
Yeah, it's all kids do.
You're 16. I never got to work. I just started driving. Had my license like 2 months before I got injured. So doing that, went back to school, made it possible. I treated my nurse bad. Why?
Just angry at the time? Angry?
Well,
what were you going through?
Accepting it. Like, I still want to be normal, but I know she had a job to do.
Yes.
So, doing that, went through that my sophomore year. But I was so worried about what people was going to say about me when I got back to school.
Oh.
Corey, why aren't you walking? What happened? Are you okay? And I kind of got tired of that, but I knew it was coming.
I can understand that.
So, did that, went through there. And the junior year got better. I didn't have to have a nurse as much. But next it was like, what's my plan B in life? That's when plan B started to kick in.
Okay, that's a great question. What's my plan B? I love it. How did you get that question? Where did that come from? Is it a download from God? Because I certainly believe in those. Sometimes I get a thought and I'm like, where in the world did that thought come from? Or was it your mom? Where did plan B come from?
Tim Brown, played for the Oakland Raiders, came to my house to see me.
Wow.
And he was like, well, you got a testimony to tell. Why don't you become a motivational speaker? I said, me? Speaking in front of thousands of people? I said, I don't know about that, Mr. Brown. As soon as he left my house, I have a tree that I sit under. And he was like, go out there and, pray on it. So I went out there and prayed on it when he left. I said, God, what's my plan B in life? Become a motivational speaker. Spread your testimony to the world.
That's beautiful.
So after I graduated, I went to Cedar Valley College and took about 3 or 4 speech classes.
Wow. Wow, some people might just go out there and start recording and talking. You went and educated yourself first. What gave you that inclination to take that route in your plan B? Well,
I used to speak in high school, but you know how you do something, you're really not comfortable with doing it?
Yes.
So you're doing it for fun? So I did that. And that's what gave me the confidence. Mr. Brown, I prayed on it, and God led me to that. And then my professor at Cedar Valley, he was like, Corey, you got to give.
Wow.
Use it.
Wow. Do you feel like, just, reflecting back a little bit, and I can't wait till we jump into where you're at today, is you clearly had a gift for public speaking, motivational speaking. Do you think you would have ended up speaking if God hadn't given you this testimony? Like, do you ever think about that paradox?
Well, everything's on God's timing. So whatever God say you're supposed to do and follow.
Yeah.
And me taking those speech classes helped. So now, Corey, you gotta use it. Yeah, football's over with. But I still bless you to be here. So I want you to do this. This is what I want you to do, Corey.
That's beautiful. So were you very faithful before? Were you just as faithful? Have you ever had a break in your faith through this testimony? Because you know, I personally wasn't raised by believers and have come to Christ through my hard times. It's when I've hit rock bottoms.
Right.
What has your faith journey been like through this process? Because a lot of times people get mad at God or turn away, but you've clearly maintained and leaned in and continued being connected.
Well, my faith in God always been strong, but you know, being in this situation, you know, I got a lot more closer with him, and that's fine. That's fine. But I had to learn a lot. Had to humble myself. My mom always told me, you know, people not gonna care about you in a wheelchair. Cause I used to go to the mall with my mom, and people don't even open the door for you when you come. So the old Corey back in 2009 wanted to say negative things.
Yes, yeah.
But the Corey I
That's
am,
the human in us.
but the Corey I am today, I rather pray for the negativity.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, and you attribute that to just your growth and reliance on God.
Yes.
That's beautiful, just through this whole process.
Yes.
Okay, before we transition over to where you're at today, I'd love to just hear about your mom.
Wow.
What was she like through this process? I mean, clearly a huge part of your life. I'd love to know about her.
Well, Miss Warner, who everybody call her Mama Warner, small as she can be, but heart as big as a lion. I used to have nurses come in and out when I came home and take care of me. Some of them used to just leave. Some of them didn't show up, you know, when she used to be at work. So she got laid off at Baylor. She used to work at Baylor. And I was like, well, Mama, can you take care of me? Can't nobody do it like you do.
Yeah, that's the truth.
You know, so ever since then, you know, my mom been my caretaker.
Wow.
We spend most of our time together, and that's fine. She bathed me, get me up, we go eat together, you name it. I'm just happy.
That's beautiful. Nothing greater than the love of a mother and a son.
I love her.
Yes, yeah, that's very, very clear.
Never complains, just, you know, we all have our moments.
Of course, that's real life.
We all have our moments.
That's real life.
But I'm
Talking
thankful.
about all the good stuff, but that's real life.
I'm thankful for her. I'm thankful.
Oh.
My dad works a lot, but he always told me, you know, Corey, don't worry about me. Just make sure your mama good. And ever since then, I have.
That is beautiful. Well, she must be so proud. I hope to
Yes.
get to meet her one of
You
these
will.
days. I
You
will
will.
love it.
I promise you.
I love it. All right. Well, we are going to transition here into hearing more about where Corey is today. Testimony is powerful. It's beautiful. I'm certain, I'm not even going to say I hope, I am certain that as that goes across the airwaves, that people's lives are going to be changed, and that will be my prayer and my hope. So stick with us. We'll be right back and get into where Corey's making a difference today.
Hey guys, I want to take a few seconds to tell you about one of my favorite products. It is Cliff Supply. This is a product that will make your man's beard smell amazing. We all know they love to have these beards these days, but they're a little prickly, can be a little annoying. So at least you could do is make it smell better when it's in your face. So go to the Gents Place to buy Cliff Supply. We have beard balms, oils, and wash bricks. Well, we are back for the Love of Dallas with Corey Borner, and I'm just so excited to welcome my co-host and partner in life, Ben Davis, here to, you know, really just liven up and dive deep into where you are at right now in life. How did you take your whole testimony, which you just gave us, which was so beautiful and so inspiring? What did you do with it?
Well, the words I always use is find a way. Miss Pam DeBoer, she was the athletic director at the time at DeSoto High School. And she used to come to the hospital all the time and say, Corey, you know, how are you going to get this done? Corey, how you going to move a leg? Corey, how you going to get up to go to therapy? Miss Pam, I'm going to find a way how to do it. So Miss Pam DeBoer started to find a way on the wristband, my football number 24, and little Corey, where everybody called me on the wristband. So when I went back to high school, I used to just hand them out to people over the years and just tell them, hey, no, find a way how to get through life, find a way. So through the years, I said, well, I've been praying on it. What can I do to find a way? So I talked to my parents, and we just started Find a Way Foundation to help others with disabilities, not just football, all around disability, you know, just to help others out and to never give up. you still have a life to live and still be happy and still be normal.
That's beautiful. God gave us a testimony. It is not meant to keep to ourselves and to stay small. And
True.
I think you just embody that. And how beautiful is that the athletic director came in and day out and spoke life into you. That's what she was doing. She was speaking life,
Yes.
and you responded with life. And sometimes we come across people who don't necessarily speak life into us, and that's unfortunate, but no reason to stop and get derailed. And I'm sure you've come across that just, in your journey, naysayers or people are like, no, that's not possible, trying to limit your beliefs. But wow, what a beautiful woman to come in and speak life into you in that way. It's beautiful.
Yes, it is. I talk to her all the time. And I tell her those 3 words all the time. She said, Corey, you're absolutely right. And so I just smile when she said, she's amazing. I love Miss Pam.
Oh, I love that. It reminds me of a book that we both read, which was The Obstacle is the Way.
Yes.
Ryan Holiday,
Yes.
I believe. That's what, when I was reading about you and thinking about you and hearing your testimony, that's what I thought. Because he talks about the obstacle is the way. It's not
Right.
the block in the road. It's find a way. You go under, through, above. If you can't move the
Right.
rock, you go to the right, you go to the left. But it remains, I will find a way.
Yes.
So tell us more about what you're doing with your organization. So when you're supporting people with disabilities, is that with scholarships or events, or just tell us a little bit more about kind of your organization, what you do day to day with it.
Well, we're still just getting started with it. So, taking, of course, donations and, still letting people know about my testimony and what I'm doing with Find a Way Foundation so I can help others with disabilities, with shoes made for school or, something, that whatever they need, if possible, whatever they ask for, I can try our best to get it, for them because I want to see them smiling, whatever it is.
That's beautiful. I also read that you put on youth football camps. Are you still involved with that?
Yes, since COVID has got a little better, thank God.
Yes, thank God.
I can do more with the Corey Borner football camp at DeSoto High School that I have maybe at the end of May or the beginning of June.
That's awesome. So when you did have it, or you've interacted with teens, right? Because you were injured as a teen at the, what would say, prime of your life, 16, and especially for a young man, right? Like you said, you just gotten your license. I
Yes.
mean, freedom was right there.
Yes.
And then seemingly in this earthly world, it was taken from you, but spiritually, you were taken to the next level. Nothing
True.
was taken from you. What have been some of your interactions with teens? Like, how have you influenced life? Do you have any stories or any memorable people that you have made an impact on you could tell us about?
Well, when I was on my feet at 16, some things, God will get your attention. He'll slow you down in some ways. And you just can't forget about him. And I had to learn that as well. But I tell teens, be good to your parents. Tell them you love them every day. Tell them you appreciate them, because people don't have to do nothing for you in life. You got to be thankful and grateful for everything that you get and or be around. Like football players that wear my wristbands, Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott, it means a lot to me that they wear it because they don't have to, but they do. So I'm thankful for that. So me speaking to teens and little kids, stay positive and stay motivated.
I know the organization is relatively new, but thinking about the next 3, 4, 5 years, like what are some big goals that you have? What do you want to accomplish? What are your priorities? What do you want to do next?
Just to make sure whoever knows about Find a Way Foundation, that's a good organization. They took care of my family. They came by and prayed with us, talked to us. As long as I'm remembered in a good, positive way, I thank God for that.
It's an incredible story. Just hearing you earlier, I think about our son that's 16 years old, and we have one that's 15 years old. And I can't imagine experiencing that and also being where you are and taking something and making something relatively bad, what the world would perceive as bad, and taking it to this level. And so I just want to acknowledge you for that, because
Thank you.
Absolutely. And these kids that think something bad is going on in their life, you have a testimony to say, if I can turn this around, you can turn that around.
Right.
Right. And it's a beautiful message. This show is about involving our audience. And we don't know if one person's watching or a million people, but as you probably have realized, one person in your life can change everything. And so even if one person is hearing this and saying, I want to help, how can our audience help? It's about involving them. Is it money? Is it time? Do you have any events coming up? Anything that we can help you do to make your organization better?
Well, every year, the mayor blessed me with my own day in DeSoto. I have a Corey Borner Day.
Awesome.
My own day. I know, right?
Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome.
I never would thought I had my own day.
That's right.
Yeah.
I tell my publishers that too. I was like, what, me? But yeah, Corey Borner Day is on September the 7th, but it's always celebrated on that Saturday, whatever Saturday it is. And I also have the website, findaway.com. Go in there and look, read my stories, and the donate button is on there, all that good stuff.
That's awesome. So findaway.com. I would say get on there. Let's donate and help him get the resources so that he can donate his time more, so he can elevate his story. This is a story that I need, not I want. I need my teenage boys to hear, because
sure.
life can feel so permanent in moments, right? That could have felt, and in your situation, it is earthly, relatively permanent, or one would perceive it as permanent. I know that's not how you think about it, but that's how you start out. And we know everything is temporary. Even something as being paralyzed can seem permanent, we know is temporary, because you went from being fully paralyzed to not so much. I've seen you drink your own water. I've seen you move your own mic. I'm seeing you do things that don't fit paralyzed. And it's just beautiful to see that. And you would want our teenage boys, and all teenage boys and girls too, but boys sometimes get a little macho, right?
Sure,
I don't need
sure.
help. I can only imagine you went through that, because I
yes.
could see how my boys would go through it. And you found a way, and now you're getting to show the way to others. You found
Yes.
it for yourself, and now you're going and showing others. And I just feel so blessed that we got to have this amazing conversation with you, and be a conduit for you to continue to find a way
Yes.
to bless your organization. I can't wait to see how far you take this. I know it's going to be beyond all of our expectations. You're an
Right.
overcomer. You're an expectation breaker. And it's just been a privilege to sit with you.
Thank you.
Absolutely, Corey.
And I would love to, okay, so for the last little bit of our show here, I think it's just so important right now with teenage suicide, mental illness, mental health, because that's what, someone cannot be paralyzed physically but can be paralyzed mentally.
True.
Right, we know this. So what do you want to say? Can you just give our teens out there maybe just a last message of encouragement that they can be left with, and we'll end on that beautiful note.
Okay, just stay positive and keep God first. I say that a lot because nothing's possible without Him, and with faith, all things are possible. So you lean on God, and God gonna lean on you back. So, and you just continue to let God lead, because God has the last say so, and continue to find a way.
Well, that's just beautiful. I love it. It's so simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. And that's what makes it beautiful. Find a way. God is the way. You heard it here. I mean, show me another way, but I haven't seen one. This one's really compelling.
Thank you.
I hope you will show this to your teenagers. I hope you will spread this far and wide. Corey Borner is an overcomer, and he has found a way. For the Love of Dallas is going to do big things, great things, and we're going to highlight people like Corey. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.